I don't wish to sound like an out-and-out cynic. I know there are people on the comment section who call themselves cynic of this, cynic of that, but I don't. I don't subscribe to cynicism. I subscribe to satire, but not cynicism. Cynicism seems to me to be unnecessarily negative without offering anything positive. But yes, I don't wish to be cynical, but the arrest of a group of people, 6 Afghan nationals across the UK, accused of smuggling, seems to me to be a calculated move to suggest that we are actually doing something, because the thought that these people were not known before yesterday is impossible. It's impossible. And yesterday, a coordinated international crackdown was organised. It led to the arrest of 6 Afghan nationals in the UK, wanted in Belgium, for their alleged role in a significant people smuggling network. And these arrests, part of a joint operation with Belgium and Italian authorities, mark a rare success in tackling the shadowy and highly lucrative industry that thrives on human desperation. Yes, for all the headlines and the ministerial triumphalism, one must ask, is this truly enough to break the cycle of trafficking and smuggling, or is it merely a temporary disruption in an ongoing, ever-evolving trade? And I'm afraid that's the point. This is a box-tick exercise. The National Crime Agency, working alongside European law enforcement, executed raids in Leicester, Birmingham, Essex and South London. And great, these are the people that should be taken out. The traffickers, the smugglers, these men accused of orchestrating illegal migration routes from Afghanistan through Iran, Turkey and the Balkans, allegedly using social media platforms to facilitate this illicit traffic. But of course, you've got to add that traffic wouldn't be in existence if the British had made good on their word and promised the Afghans who were involved in supporting the British and American operations in Afghanistan with asylum when it was necessary. Instead, Dominic Raab was sunning himself on the beach in Khanya without a thought in the world for the damage done. The network, in this case, reportedly exploited legal loopholes in multiple countries, moving migrants systematically from France and Belgium to the UK via small boats. And for a criminal enterprise that's operated since 2022, this marks a significant disruption, certainly. Migrants, many of whom had already had their asylum applications rejected in Belgium, were being rerouted to the UK, ensuring that smugglers maximise their profits, regardless of the human cost. And what we need is more evidence of this process. The authorities believe that these individuals played a crucial role in the logistics of the operation, but crucially, they do not represent the masterminds. They are simply the middlemen, or at least that's the impression. And that's the problem. These are like the people managing the cannabis houses in the Midlands. They can be raided, they do time in jail, that's the price they pay. Where the real masterminds are busy going elsewhere. The Minister for Border Security and Asylum, Dame Angela Eagle, has emphasised the government's commitment to dismantling these criminal networks, declaring that Britain will not hesitate to go after those who seek to undermine our border security. Yet, while arrests of this scale offer a glimmer of hope, history warns us against mistaking arrests for eradication. But these arrests are the way forward, in a way that the image of people being herded onto planes and the absurd development of Suella Braverman's illegal migration and Nationality and Borders Act is not. These are wrong. This is right. It is right to pursue the people who are organising the trafficking. The reality, however, is that human trafficking remains a highly adaptable and resilient trade, and much like the cannabis farms in the suburban Midland housing estates, where trafficked Vietnamese nationals are recruited as boffins to tend the crops. Many of these now arrested in these high-profile crackdowns are expendable operatives rather than the actual kingpins. And the true ringleaders, those who manipulate global migration flows from a safe distance, remain largely untouched, though they have occasionally been identified, particularly by clever media, by clever reporters. Even if these 6 men were key players in a specific network, however, the root causes remain unaddressed. The demand for people smuggling services will not diminish as long as legal migration routes remain insufficient and asylum processes remain sluggish and impenetrable. As long as the Home Office is incompetent and lazy and inaccessible, smuggling and trafficking will continue. Every new crackdown serves as an inconvenience rather than a deterrent, with smugglers merely adjusting their methods, shifting routes, recruiting new operatives, redefining their digital presence to continue their trade. Belgium authorities estimate this specific network alone has facilitated the movement of significant numbers of migrants to the UK. If that's the case, then removing 6 operatives from the equation does little more than create a temporary staffing shortage rather than dismantle an entire criminal enterprise. Indeed, NCA Deputy Director Craig Turner himself has acknowledged that there are at least 70 ongoing investigations into similar networks, and the depth and scale of the problem far outweighs the scope of any individual operation. The government continues to champion high-profile arrests and crackdowns as proof of its commitment to securing borders. However, without a broader strategic overhaul, one that includes international agreements on legal migration routes, enhanced intelligence sharing beyond just reactive enforcement, and a serious effort to dismantle networks at their financial and organisational core, this cycle will persist. This is just wallpaper. If the UK and its European partners are serious about ending human smuggling, then the focus needs to shift beyond the operatives caught in Leicester bedsits or Essex flats and onto the real masterminds who operate in the shadows, laundering their profits and staying one step ahead of the law. Until we start seeing the heads in these networks face justice, rather than their foot soldiers, the human smuggling trade will remain as robust as ever. And while we send messages that the people, the victims who are caught in this human smuggling traffic, will also be punished, then the people who are threatened by this trade are the people who are manipulated. We need to be sending a message that the real people that we want are the people at the top. And while the people at the top can quite happily wipe their hands of all the problems when their little operatives get caught, or when the victims that they've cajoled and bullied into doing these extraordinarily dangerous trips can be punished, they get away scot-free. And the cycle continues. This is why the Illegal Migration, the Nationality and Borders Acts are wrong, because they're targeting the wrong thing. There's no question that the arrest of these 6 men represents a positive step in the battle against illegal migration network. But if history is any guide, the real test will not be these arrests, but what happens next. Will we see an actual reduction in crossings? I doubt it. Will new networks simply take their place? Almost certainly. And controlled by the same masters. Until there's a serious shift in how we tackle human smuggling, and one that acknowledges the demand side problem, increases in legal migration opportunities that are established, and an effort to ensure that those truly profiting from this trade are brought to justice, yesterday's arrests will stand as a footnote in a war that remains far from won.